biggest thing on my list, and I just, I ranted about this yesterday. I want to make it very clear. I started out playing with this like it was a joke, but I don't think this is a joke. I'm actually starting to think that this might be an actual serious reality, and we all need to be talking about it. And that is that Karl Rove has raised $76 million that he will not tell us where it came from. 62% of the $123 million that his super PAC Crossroads has raised. $76 million. We have no idea where it came from. And I'm just putting two and two together in my head. The Reagan administration was Iran's best friend. Okay, the Carter administration hated Iran. Jimmy Carter had an embargo on Iran. Iran, took the hostages. Jimmy Carter almost went to war with Iran. They didn't like Democrat Carter. But they cut a deal with the Republican Reagan, known as the Iran-Contra scandal. And Reagan sold them weapons illegally. Gave them weapons, sold them weapons, So Reagan helped out Iran tremendously. Then the next Republican to come along, well, then after Reagan and Bush, you had a Democratic administration, Bill Clinton. And Bill Clinton was again hostile to the Iranians, put a strong embargo on them. But in 1999, a company by the name of Halliburton was illegally, or some would say illegally, Halliburton claims it was not because they laundered it through a front company someplace in Europe. But Halliburton was selling things to Iran that could have been used to produce nuclear weapons. And that decision was apparently made by Dick Cheney when he was CEO of Halliburton, and he became the vice president in 2000. And so we got another Republican administration, and what did they do? So the question is always, what are the Republicans going to do for Iran? All right, in the Reagan administration, they sold them weapons. During the Clinton administration, Republican vice presidential nominee candidate, soon-to-be Vice President Dick Cheney, former congressman, Republican congressman, former head of Jerry Ford's chief of staff, Dick Cheney was selling things to the Iranians. And then Iran's number one enemy in the world was who? Just think about this for a minute. Who fought a war with Iran for about a decade? Over 1 million men died in that war. It cost billions of dollars. Who fought that war? Saddam Hussein. The biggest enemy in the world of Iran was Saddam Hussein. In 2003, George W. Bush invaded Iraq, and in 2006, December of 2006, he hung. In fact, he ripped the head off the top of the body of Saddam Hussein, and it rolled around on the floor. The Iranians were ecstatic. In fact, the next year, they set up the Bank of Iran in Baghdad. So the Iranians have to be, and then Obama came into office, and boom, down came the wall, and the Iranians are back in poor favor, shall we say. And they're being embargoed, and they're getting all this pressure, and Obama even was successful in getting the Chinese and the Russians to participate in pressuring Iran. So Iran is like, they need another Republican. So I would wager, and I'm not a betting man, but I would wager that some of those millions or tens of millions of dollars that have gone to Karl Rove's GPS PAC, which are being used and have been used and will be used to take out Democratic politicians and to try to take down President Obama politically and get Republicans elected, that some of that money either came directly from Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, laundered, of course, through an American holding company, something like that, some one level of, maybe a couple of levels of invisibility, or came from companies like Halliburton was when Dick Cheney was the CEO of it, that are making millions or billions of dollars doing business illegally with Iran, and they want to get back to it. And so they want another Republican presidency. Because the Republicans over the last 30 years have been Iran's best friend, and the Democrats have been Iran's enemy. And Karl Rove has been right in the middle of all of this stuff. And here he is raising $123 million, $76 million of it. We have no idea where it came from. We do know it came from fewer than 100 people. That one particular donor gave him $10 million the year before last and $10 million last year. We have no idea who it was. I think it was Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. One way or another, either as a direct contribution or through the back door. And, of course, the Supreme Court made all this possible. Aren't they wonderful? 15 minutes past the hour.